Justice and mercy are often seen as opposing forces, yet in the biblical worldview, they are two sides of the same divine reality. God's justice upholds righteousness and order, while his mercy extends grace and redemption. The tension between these two attributes is one of the most profound theological and psychological challenges humans face. The Bible makes it clear that God is both just and merciful. Psalm 89:14 declares righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Steadfast love and faithfulness go before you. This passage reveals that divine justice is inseparable from divine mercy. To understand God's justice and mercy, we must explore their structure, implications, and application in human life. Justice is a fundamental pillar of moral and social order. Without it, societies descend into chaos, and individuals lose their sense of meaning and responsibility. Justice as the upholder of order. Proverbs 21:15 states, when justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous but terror to evildoers. Justice brings stability, ensuring that good is rewarded and evil is punished. Justice as a call to responsibility. People are psychologically structured to seek fairness. Without justice, resentment and bitterness grow, leading to destructive behaviors. This is why God commands that wrongdoing must be addressed. Micah 6:8. Justice without mercy becomes tyranny. A world without mercy results in rigid legalism and oppression. Jesus confronted the Pharisees because their obsession with law disregarded the heart of God's character. Matthew 23:23. If justice is necessary for order, mercy is necessary for renewal. A purely just system leaves no room for redemption. Mercy is the radical force that transforms justice into something beyond mere punishment. It creates a path to restoration. It creates a path. Mercy as divine compassion. Lamentations 3:22-23 reminds us, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. God's justice does not lead to destruction, but to renewal. Mercy requires action. Jesus' parable of the Good Samaritan, Luke 10:25-37, shows that mercy is not just an emotion, but a tangible response to injustice and suffering. Mercy does not ignore justice. Forgiveness does not mean the absence of consequence. Jesus bore the full weight of justice on the cross so that mercy could be offered freely. Romans 3:26. God's mercy does not contradict his justice. It fulfills it by providing a path for redemption. The biblical narrative repeatedly illustrates how God harmonizes justice and mercy. The flood. Justice and mercy in action. God's justice led to the flood. Genesis 6:5-7. But his mercy preserved Noah and established a covenant. Genesis 9:8-17. Moses and the law, the Ten Commandments, provide a moral framework. Exodus 20. But the sacrificial system allowed for mercy and restoration. Leviticus 16. The cross. The ultimate convergence of justice and mercy at the cross. God's justice demanded payment for sin. Romans 6:23. But his mercy provided Jesus as the substitute. Corinthians 5:21. Every major biblical event reveals that God does not compromise on justice, nor does he withhold mercy. Instead, he integrates them into his redemptive plan. Understanding divine justice and mercy shapes how we live and interact with others. Personal responsibility. Just as God holds us accountable, we must take responsibility for our actions. Galatians 6:7-8. Forgiveness as an extension of mercy. Jesus commands us to forgive as we have been forgiven. Matthew 6. This does not negate justice, but transforms it into restoration. Social justice with divine wisdom. The modern pursuit of justice must be tempered with divine wisdom and mercy, avoiding vengeance and self-righteousness. James 2:13. A society that upholds justice without mercy becomes oppressive, while a society that prioritizes mercy without justice breeds lawlessness. How should we embody both justice and mercy in daily life? Seek righteousness in all actions. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Matthew 5:6. Extend grace to others. Reflecting God's mercy means showing grace to those who wrong us, while still upholding moral accountability. Stand for justice, but not in vengeance. Romans 12:19 tells us, do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. Justice belongs to God, but we are called to pursue righteousness. Embody both in leadership and influence. Whether in families, workplaces, or communities, lead with integrity, upholding truth while extending compassion. Justice and mercy are not contradictory. They are complementary. Without justice, mercy has no foundation. Without mercy, justice becomes unbearable. God calls us to walk in both. Do we uphold justice while extending grace? Are we quick to judge, but slow to forgive? How do we model God's justice and mercy in our daily lives? To live in the image of God is to embrace both justice and mercy fully, reflecting His divine character in our relationships. And decision. This balance is the key to a life of righteousness, wisdom, and grace. I'll mention that